Now I want to go into for a few minutes getting off the tee a little bit more specifically. I know we've touched on some of those stance changes and the shape of the swing, but I really want to roll up those sleeves and get to looking at this motion. Now, with teeing off, I want you to be prepared that what we're going to tell you to do is going to feel a lot different than what you did with the irons. And you know what? If you've been struggling with your driver, that might be a good thing. It's going to feel a lot different because it is different. The ball is up in the air. It's not on the ground anymore, so we have to hit it in a different fashion. So what we're going to do with those stance changes again is we're going to have a wide stance with the ball forward in the stance. It's going to feel like that ball is up there, if you will, in the stance, more toward the left foot. The other thing is that the wide stance, that essentially puts me behind the golf ball, so I'm a little bit more over here. That creates a situation where the club is going to be sweeping a little more through impact. It's not going to be going down into the ground. Very important. I don't want to lean the handle forward or have the ball back in my stance because that's going to make me chop down on it. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is very possibly the difference between a lifetime of good driving and struggling. When you set up to a driver with that ball position forward in your stance, you're going to be encouraged, just like an iron shot, to look right at it. Now, what I mean by that is, with that ball positioned up here in my stance, if I'm looking smack at the golf ball like that, my shoulders are now looking to left field. This is a problem because it shapes the whole swing to left field. So what you want to do is to go ahead and feel like your shoulders are squared around this way, making sure that they're going down the range or down the fairway. This is extremely important. I see people struggle with this all the time. In fact, there's a flagpole out at the driving range where I teach, and I tell people, go ahead and feel like you're facing toward the flagpole. They feel like they're facing around this direction because that ball position being forward in the stance makes it feel like you're miles behind it at address when you do that. And you know what? You are. You're supposed to be. That's going to give us the impact that we're looking for. So, once we set up in that fashion, remember the swing shape is more around. It's going to feel more like baseball. A little bit flatter, if you will, more around. Now, does that mean that I'm wrapping it around this way? Not really. You have to remember we're still looking for that place over the shoulder there in the backstroke. So that's going to give me the swing shape that I'm looking for. Now, I want to remind you a little something about impact, and that is as the club approaches, to catch it in the right part of the club, that club is going to have to be in the air as it makes impact. It is not touching the ground. The other thing that for sure is going to happen is that the tee is also going to be hit for sure. So when you make a proper impact with a driver, that tee is going to be moved from its original place, but the ground is untouched. So we mustn't touch the ground at all on a driver shot. Not on a practice swing, not on the real shot either. The club is never to touch the ground. You can set it up on the ground, but after that the swing is entirely in the air. For those of you who may be seeing some of those marks on top of your club, well, that's from coming down too much into the ground. So we want to have that club swing above the ground on the way through. That is a conscious effort. So now let's go ahead and give it a go. We'll set it up. That ball position is forward in the stance, wide stance, and again, taking care that my shoulders are not leaning too far to left field. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, when it comes to teeing off, there's a great way to get ready for this type of shot, and that is to go ahead and swing at the tee by itself with no ball on it. We all know that there's plenty of time waiting around on the golf course, so you can make really good use of that time. Just put a tee in the ground without a ball on it, set up to it absolutely normal, like you're ready to hit a shot. Go ahead and make your full swing. And what you're looking to do, you're sort of using the sound to help you here. You want to hear the nip of that tee. You're going to hit the top of the tee without touching the ground. Now, you should be able to do this 7, 8, 9 times out of 10, hitting the tee without touching the ground. When you can do that, you're ready for some really great driving. This is a great drill to do. Also, you want to remember, when you get to a tee box, if it looked absolutely perfect when you got there, it needs to look absolutely perfect when you leave. No touching the ground with that driver on the way through. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our time together today. Remember, even the best players in the world are constantly refining their already superb swings. They understand that changes don't come overnight, and can actually take quite a few weeks before being really fully integrated into their games. You too should realize that having the knowledge is the first step, and that a fair amount of practice may be necessary to add those changes to your game. However, now that you have the right knowledge about iron play and driving techniques, that practice should prove very fruitful. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure to visit the website at golflevels.com. I'm Roger Gunn, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next level.